Hi guys, for today's video I actually have another tag for you and it is called the palette recommendation tag. I haven't really seen this going around much. I recently saw Robin's Cup of Tea here on YouTube do it and it was created by Kaylee, I believe. I will have both of their channels linked down below as well as all the questions, but basically again it's just a bunch of questions regarding different palettes and ones I recommend and what's good for what purpose. It's kind of like the perfect palette tag, but it is a little different. So if you want to see me talk about palettes and answer some questions, keep on watching. The first question in this tag is, what is the best palette for beginners? And in my opinion, I know I talk about this palette all the time, it is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. You guys know that this is my favorite palette of all time, but I just think that for beginners this is so amazing to work with. I absolutely love the variety of shadows in here, but when it comes to being beginners friendly, they're not overly pigmented. They have just the right amount of pigmentation, and I think that's what makes it so beginners friendly. You're not gonna like put it on your eye and have trouble blending it unless you really press your brush in here and get a lot of shadow on the brush. If you just swirl your brush in here really lightly, it just has that perfect amount of pigmentation to blend. I remember when I first got into shadow and when I first discovered shadow, I was like, I want a really pigmented shadow because that's what everyone wants. This looks so pigmented. Something like my Lorac Pro or my Lorac Pro 2, those are beautifully pigmented, but for a beginner those are just not that great. They're going to be overly pigmented, they're going to be hard to blend, they're going to have a ton of fallout. So for a beginner, just to make your life easier, just to get used to working with shadows and blending and stuff, I would definitely go with the Too Faced Chocolate Bar. And you don't even have to get the specific one. This one is just my favorite depending on what tones and colors you like. You can get the semi-sweet, you can get the Bonbon palette, the Sweet Peach palette. All the Too Faced shadows have a little bit of a drier formula, which I tend to prefer, and it'll make it so easy to work with. The next question is, what is the best drugstore palette? And I absolutely love these CoverGirl True palettes. They have True Naked, True Roses, and True Golden. The only one I have right here is True Roses, but I love this palette. These are definitely meant to be dupes for the Naked palette, but I'm gonna go out on a whim and say that this is even better than my Naked 3. I absolutely love this little guy. When I want something mauvey, something pinky, something rosy, this is definitely what I reach for. You guys know how I feel about my Naked 3, which I will definitely get into at the end of this video as well, but I really love these palettes. Again, they have such nice pigmentation. They can be a little chalky and a little thick, but other than that, I think they're super easy to work with and again are very comparable, if not better, than the Urban Decay Naked palettes. And if you're totally not into like these mauve shades, it comes in two other color schemes, something a little more warm, something a little more golden and bronzy. So whatever colors you go for, these CoverGirl True Naked palettes are so inexpensive and so good. Something else that I just wanted to quickly mention, it's not necessarily drugstore, but it is more on the affordable side, is Makeup Geek eyeshadows. I know this isn't like a set palette, but I think it's super awesome to be able to kind of pick the shades that you want and put them in a little magnetic palette like this. Like I said, these are all Makeup Geek eyeshadows and I have them inside the little Makeup Geek Travel Vault palette, and I think again this is a super affordable and super good option if you want to kind of customize your own palette and pick your own colors, and Makeup Geek shadows are awesome. The next question is, what is the best palette for work/school? I'm just gonna go with my Too Faced Chocolate Bar again. From experience, when I was in high school, this is what I reached for on a daily basis just because I know it has those basic browns, those basic lid shades, even a little bit of some darker colors if I wanted to play around a little bit. I definitely wasn't scared to kind of play around with my eyeshadow in school, but if you're going to work, if wherever you're going to has a little more of a strict makeup policy, which totally sucks, and I really think you should be able to wear whatever makeup you want wherever, but if you do have a little bit more of a strict makeup policy, or if you just feel like wearing a little bit of a lighter makeup if you don't have time to do it for work in school, I would definitely suggest something like the Chocolate Bar, again, with just your basic neutral, quick and easy shades. What is the best natural way to play with color? Now, I kind of had a little bit of trouble deciding, have a little trouble like incorporating color into my day-to-day looks, but these were the two palettes that came to mind, the Anastasia Modern Renaissance as well as the Lorac Pro 2 palette. So I picked these two palettes because I guess it kind of depends what kind of colors you want them. The Modern Renaissance is going to give you more of those warm shades like you can see here. Those are kind of easy colors, kind of easy to incorporate into a day-to-day look. The orange, the red, the pink, the fuchsia, those are going to be really easy to kind of smoke out your lower lash line, put on your outer corner while still looking natural and not like really colorful. And then I also chose the Lorac Pro 2 because you do have some pops of color in here. You're going to get something a little more cool tones. You have like a jade, a blue, a purple, a peach, again a little bit of a muted way to play with color, so I really think that this is a good option for a natural way to play with color. With a palette like this, you're going to get your pops of color, but it also has some natural shades in there. I definitely think it's important, if you want a natural look, you have to incorporate natural shades. Obviously, if you want to use all colors, I don't think you really can expect a natural look, but when they're all kind of combined, it's definitely a nice way to play up like a day-to-day look by just adding a little pop of one of these muted colors. What palette gives you the biggest bang for your buck? That was easy for me, the Morphe palettes. These are absolutely amazing and I cannot rave about them enough. I know I don't use them a lot on my channel, but I definitely use them otherwise. The three that I have here are the 35F, the 35K, and the 35O. I do have to say the 35K is my favorite just because it has such a wide range of colors, but just in general, all the Morphe palettes, you are getting 35 eyeshadows for $22.95, and that is crazy to me. The price point is just so amazing. For all the eyeshadows you're getting, they're really not that expensive if you break it down per eyeshadow, so I definitely recommend the Morphe palettes if you're looking for the biggest bang for your buck. So the next two questions are the best palette for your skin tone and the best palette for your eye color. I really did have a lot of trouble picking because I do tend to play around with all my palettes. I feel like all my palettes complement my skin tone and my eye color really well. There's not really one or two that comes to mind that I think is better than another for like light skin tone and brown eyes, so I guess whatever palette you guys have seen me use on my channel, I really don't have a preference when it comes to that. The next question is, what is the best all-in-one palette? And I had to go with my Too Faced and Nikkie Tutorials The Power of Makeup palette. I know so many of you guys and so many other YouTubers really don't like this palette, and I don't know why. I absolutely love this. I don't know if I'm just kind of biased because I absolutely love the Too Faced eyeshadows, but like I said, definitely the best overall palette for me because it has your nice crease shades. It has a silver, a gold, a highlighting brow bone, a black if you want to make it smoky. It has some colorful shades in there, not even for eyes but also the face. You're getting two blushes, a highlight, and the bronzer in here. Everything is absolutely amazing in this palette, like I've said 100 times, besides the highlighter, which I find is really lacking in this palette, which like I said was really surprising coming from Nikkie Tutorials. But I could literally take this palette with me and maybe an extra highlighter because like I said, I don't like this one, and I would be good to go. I would feel set and comfortable knowing that I would have enough eyeshadows no matter like what kind of look I wanted to do that day or transition from day to night. And that leads me into my next question: what is the best palette for travel? I would definitely take this one. Like I said, I just love knowing that I have enough shades to do whatever look that I want. The bronzer's in there. I don't have to bring a bronzer. I don't have to bring a separate blush. I absolutely love this palette. It is just so convenient. Definitely the best all-in-one palette and definitely the best palette to travel with. If you're looking for something a little smaller, a little more compact, definitely the Lorac Pro to go. I literally don't think I've ever talked about this on my channel, but I adore this thing so much. Now, you're not going to get tons and tons of looks with these 6 eyeshadows. You really can if you're really creative and can play around. You can do a black smoky eye with some shimmer on there. It has the brow bone highlight, the inner corner highlight. But if you know you're traveling and are really just going to need like a crease shade, an outer corner color, and a lid shade, this is definitely a really good palette for you. And I definitely recommend this, especially because it is so tiny, super compact, and again, it is also one of those palettes that comes with like the blushes and the bronzers, so again, 2 less products that you have to bring in your makeup bag. And the last question is a palette you guys do not recommend. I feel like I bash this palette literally every time I do a tag about palettes or I talk about palettes. I feel so bad because I want to love this palette. Like I've said in the past, I really want to love this palette, and I will not get rid of it because it was gifted to me and it's just a collector's item, but I cannot get myself to like the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. And I really hate to say it, but I do think it's just the overall quality that's lacking because my CoverGirl True Naked Roses, like I said in the beginning of this video, has the same exact tones. It's an exact dupe for the Naked 3, and I love how these look on my eyes, and I absolutely hate how the Naked 3 looks and perform on my eyes. It is such a stunning, beautiful palette. I don't want to go on and on because I've talked about this palette before and just it doesn't work for me. I feel like if you're super fair, you're going to love this, but if you're my skin tone or any deeper, the shades are just kind of going to pull a little ashy on you. If you're a beginner and you want to try out a palette, this might work for you, but if you're kind of picky about how your eyeshadows blend, or like I said, this really doesn't work for my skin tone at the same time. So I definitely do not recommend the Urban Decay Naked 3. Alright guys, so that concludes the palette recommendation tag. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this video and all my palette recommendations. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Again, look out for this makeup look. It should be up on my channel. Definitely make sure to check out my social medias. I will have them on the screen as well as down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an awesome holiday season, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!